Hello, and welcome back to Cabincast with Oliver and Chris.
Hello.
We are here with part
Something.
four,
Five?
five.
Five.
Yeah, part five.
Part something.
Part five of our Demon's Souls walkthrough, talkthrough. It's not a walkthrough. Do not use this as a walkthrough. Bloody hell, it's a terrible idea. Our Demon's Souls just discussion, really. Yeah, I guess we did an overview in the first one, and then we did 1, and then 2, and then 3, and now of course 4. Next we'll do 6, just to really mess with you. I guess we'll brush over 5, but there's not a whole lot to talk about there. But Shrine of Storms is what this is called. There's the Island's Edge, the Ritual Path, and the Altar of Storms. Yeah, so Island's Edge is where we start, also known as World 4-1 or Shrine of Storms in Demon's Souls, which is a location in Demon's Souls. And this features the island of the Shrine of the Shadowmen who worshipped storms and mourned the dead. Since the appearance of the flying storm beasts, the souls of the dead have been lured to the island by its demons, where they revived by finding purchase in the bosoms of uninhabited skeletons. So the one thing that confused me is the idea of shadow men worshipping something always seemed much more like that would be Latria.
Maybe.
In my head. This makes sense too, because they worship storms and there's storms everywhere, but I was like, shadow men, that would be Latria, right? That place is all weird and spooky, but it's like, no, not
I mean,
quite.
it's still weird and
But
spooky.
there's
There's all
still...
those. It's a giant graveyard.
Yeah.
You know.
The thing is, I'm so used to skeletons at this point, obviously not in real life, but in games, that skeletons don't come across as spooky anymore.
Yeah.
You know? They're just like, oh, it's a skeleton. Guess we'll deal with that. In real life, if you suddenly had to fight a skeleton, that'd be bloody terrifying. Because it's a skeleton. But it's such as the case for most things that do not appear scary in video games. That really should. Which is pretty much everything.
Someone shooting at you.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. But yeah, so we start at the island's edge.
Yeah.
Which is a very rainy place. One of the places I think I do like the look of the most. Yeah, I just quite like the rain and the kind of greeny color palette, I guess, and the outsideness. I guess because the tunnels and Latria and
You're
kind
inside
of
so much.
Yeah, they're also claustrophobic. And then this feels very open and kind of breezy. Because like even in Valley of Defilement and Boletaria Castle, they're quite confined.
Yeah. I mean, Valley of Defilement's not outside. I don't think. I think it's a cave.
It's like a cave, isn't it? It starts it's wide enough, but it still feels very contained and you're stuck underground.
It's either dark above you or it's at the ceiling above you. I can't remember which, but
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but,
you definitely feel contained and stuck and nasty.
This is the only one where you can like breathe almost.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the open air gives the opportunity for you to be bombarded with shards of whatever they are.
Yeah, I have no idea. Glass almost. Or crystal.
Yeah, weird crystal.
Weird crystal. Yeah, so the two main types of enemies you're gonna come across here are silver skeletons. Well, skeletons in general. But primarily silver skeletons who have these glowing blue eyes and have swords or bows that they will attack you with. Bludgeoning weapons. unsurprisingly, are pretty great against skeletons,
Yeah,
which is good. Other weapons, piercing and stuff, absolutely horrendous.
I think magic is good against them,
Magic, I
right?
think, is good too. Yes, I think
Yeah.
magic in general is pretty decent,
Except for against the Shadow Men.
except for against the mind flayers. Do you mean?
No, the Shadow Men.
Who are the Shadow Men? Oh, the Shadow Men. No, I don't know who you mean. Who are the Shadow Men?
You know, there's a Shadow Man with a big scythe in the next part.
Uh,
In
yes.
the Shrine of Storm
Sorry. Yes. No.
specifically.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. That the Shadow Men. I was like, he surely means here, but I don't remember anything that isn't. But no, you're right. It's because like magic bows and stuff, because they're a bow more first and foremost, still do an awful lot of damage to them. But magic itself,
Ah,
I think,
yeah,
does
magic
less
was. It was. Yeah.
less damage. Unfortunately. But yeah. So again, depending on your loadout, these skeletons might be fine or not. They do pack a punch at any point. However, because I quite enjoy parrying them. They're quite easy to parry, but if you screw it up, they will punish you for that.
hmm
Um,
Their rolling is really weird. I don't like it.
it's a thing that they keep. Skeletons are again the rolling skeletons, specifically the bone wheels of Dark Souls 1 and I suppose 2 and 3 is another a Berserk inspired thing, almost entirely. I'm pretty sure they are just skeleton wheels in Berserk, um, which comes across the Dark Souls as many things do. But these ones are still kind of along the same lines, where they aggressively roll at you and stab you,
Mm.
which again is a thing that they'll do in Dark Souls 2. It's not quite their Darth Sidious helicopter launch, but it's not far off. But yeah, they swing at you. They have some very long wind ups, which are designed to make you attempt to parry way too early, which are very rude. Um,
That
and
sounds like someone speaking from experience.
yep, yep, absolutely. They're like swing. You're like, oh no, I've missed it. That's great. But yeah, you kind of got to fight through a gauntlet of these guys. And all the while there are these storm beasts, these little manta ray kind of looking dudes who fly through the sky and make pretty cool sounds. Um,
I'll
they,
I'll disagree with you on that, but sure.
well, like the sounds, I quite enjoy the sounds. I don't know, I think they're quite cool.
Right.
Um, and they're also useful because they do cue when they're shooting at you. Because you can't always see these things because they can be quite above you, but they don't have the best tracking. So if you move in a different direction, they probably will miss you. Um, and yeah, they're these kind of green bolts of crystal. And if they hit you, they do a decent chunk of damage, not as much as the skeletons will, but they can throw you off, um, literally and figuratively, if you're not
Hmm.
expecting one of them to get hit by one and then a skeleton hits you. But yeah, you've got this gauntlet of skeletons. There's a bunch more warriors. There's one with a bow, and they're a whole nightmare, and you have to fight them as you go up these stairs. But you can deal with them fairly easily. You then come up to like the kind of castle shrine building itself, where there's more skeletons shooting at you, and you can head through to the left, where there is a trap. Because this place has some pressure plate traps that either killed you or killed me on our first time through here.
Me. I'd
Yeah,
summoned you, and then it wasn't our first time through, but our first time through together, and
yes,
I
which
was
kind of makes it
paying
worse.
exactly zero attention. I should have remembered. I remember the first time I came through, I was specifically like, there's a very thin corridor
Yep,
like this. That looks like somewhere they put one of those traps. But no, you
yep.
completely forgot the second time.
So I spawned in, and Chris was like, I've died.
Hmm.
It was pretty entertaining. But yeah, you get past that, either you block it, um, or you sprint fast enough that you get past it. Um, yeah, the traps in this one are no joke. They will kill you a lot. Um, I'm pretty sure this thing, the one time that I didn't pay attention, I was kind of just doing it on autopilot and I forgot. It was like just one of the bolts killed the wizard one I had. So it's like, oh, wow, that hurts. If you go one way out here, though, on the same level, you'll find a black skeleton. These guys have glowing red eyes and 2 katana blades.
Hmm.
And they are very mean.
Very mean.
Again,
Indeed.
if you can parry them, they'll go down not too difficultly, but they will completely annihilate you. They have a lot of fast attacks. They can cover ground really quickly. They're very aggressive. Or they walk really slow and ominously, which isn't much better. But yeah, they always have some like interesting stuff. They have a crescent falchion +1 near them, and 6 soul remains. And yeah, they're a fun challenge if you want to deal with them. They're primarily out of the way though, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice as well. If you head up the stairs, however, you can fight the skeletons that are shooting arrows at you and get yourself killed if you're really not paying attention. And head down into kind of the next section. But also, this is where we find the first crow, Sparkly.
Yeah. She goes, I'm going to remember. I've got it
Mm-hmm.
somewhere.
Core, probably.
Core, you scary. Give Sparkly me. Give Twinkly me. Me Core, you trade. Trade. Give me Sparkly Twinkly.
The birds are.
They're great. I love
They
the
are
best
great.
character in the whole franchise, the birds.
It always just finds it interesting. I always find it interesting how they are. You never see them,
I
but they're there
find it
somewhere.
interesting thinking about the people who went to them with every single item and dropped it just to see what would happen.
True.
Because there are those big tables of what trades for what.
Mm-hmm.
Must be fun.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, so you can trade things with Sparkly. I've never done it. I rarely
Never.
trade with the crows at all, and I don't think I've ever traded with Sparkly.
I don't. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if I traded with Spark. Oh no, I think I traded with Sparkly for an upgrade material in my cleric run.
I think that sounds familiar.
And I normally trade in Dark Souls 3 for Solaire's stuff.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But anyway, after
But anyway,
Sparkly,
after Sparkly, if you go down, kind of carry onwards, you'll fight some more skeletons, and you'll come to a place where there is the only 2 illusory doors in the game, or illusory
yeah.
walls even,
And I
which are
was
very
an
obvious.
idiot and did not realise the
And
very obvious one.
yeah, Chris didn't realize somehow.
It's there's a nice staircase like you've seen all over the place, but for some reason it just leads to a wall. And
Mm-hmm.
I, with the knowledge that there are illusory walls in this level, go, that's weird, and just walk on.
As I just either attack or rolled straight through it. There's a little skeleton ambush down here, which, again, if you're not paying attention or it's your first time through, can catch you off guard because they both come from either end of the corridor. It's a T-junction, so you can't see them. So if you kind of go out on it, one will attack you head on, and while that's happening, another one will come up from from behind doing their goofy roll attack thing. But yeah, if you bait them back into the corridor, you can take them out. And then there's another illusory door wall. And you come up into the kind of courtyard part from underneath, we can backtrack a little bit and open the main door, so you don't have to do that section again. But here, you will also be able to have another crack at the Vanguard demon.
Yes.
Different Vanguard demon. I think. Not the same one.
Yes, not quite as well, at least in the remake, not quite as worn down by years. That
Yeah.
it's a fresh one, basically.
This
The
one
word
is
I'm
not a
looking for.
prisoner, or anything. It seems just like it's here. Uh, yeah. And despite not having like a boss like health bar or anything, it's pretty much a boss. It has quite a lot of health. It still hits like a truck, but luckily it's got a very tight um path. It doesn't go very far.
Yeah, it's not
Uh,
got much of an aggro
yeah,
to
it's
it.
not got much of an aggro range, and you've got a whole lot of space, which is your main issue in your first fight with Vanguard, is that you've got basically no room to work with. And if you screw up the roll once, you've not got enough health to actually protect you from it. Whereas here,
Mm.
even if you get hit, you can probably tank one hit, and then you can back off easy enough to heal. The only issue will be if you're not taking care of the skeleton archers, they'll shoot down at you, and the storm beasts will also shoot down at you. But if you pay attention to them or kill them, because we should point out you can shoot the storm beasts with crossbows or bows. They do not have the most health. They are pretty weak. Um, but yeah, you can fight this guy, and he's again quite repetitive. You just kind of go in, swing a few times, get out. If you want to fight him properly, then go for it. But I'd rather not. Um, though I do kind of like how weighty the axe feels.
Yeah,
But,
certainly got an impact to it.
yeah. But moving past him, you head up some stairs into another kind of stony part of the shrine.
It's very hard to define. It's like the ruins of a building.
Yeah. Where you'll find more skeletons. And another black skeleton. But again, this guy's kind of chilling in a corner. And unless you aggro him, he'll just leave you alone.
Hmm.
Which is pretty nice of him. Though sometimes you might just get a little bit too close. And then he'll follow you. But he'll only stalk after you, so again. It's okay. It's okay. So then, um, if you follow this round, there's another trap. This place. You can climb up a ladder and grab some stuff, or you just follow it round. If you climb up the ladder, I think you can also basically circumnavigate the black skeleton as well by jumping off at the top. But you go down some
Okay.
stairs and you follow this quite narrow path, which would be a lot more scary to do in real life because that stone would be incredibly wet and slippy. And it's not that wide. But here we are just rolling kind of all over it. But that's okay. Because again, yeah, the storm beasts are here and they will fire at you and they're a real pain. We also come across some gold skeletons, which have massive, like, great machete kind of things, and a bit more health, bit tankier than the silver skeletons, but a bit slower. Again, parrying them can almost take them out in one hit, if not two, maybe. But if you screw it up, they do an awful lot of damage. But they are slower. So there are two of them, I believe. So it's kind of you want to try and bait one, but you might get both, and that's kind of unfortunate. But once you get past them, you can go into another again, yeah, kind of crumbled small building, and find the grave robber's ring, which is a ring we will use later.
Indeed. I'm trying to remember what it does.
It's the one that makes it harder for Black Phantoms or Black Phantom NPCs or invading players to detect you. Um,
Ah.
and I'm just thinking that actually it's maybe not the one I'm thinking of. It is useful. Um, but I'm thinking of the one that you use on the warrior boy. I don't think that's this one, is it? That's the other one.
No, that's the thief's ring you're
That's the
thinking of,
thief's ring.
which you
Raven's
get all the
rings.
way back at Boletaria.
Yeah, which we must have already talked about. I muddled them up because it's been ages since I played this. Again, it's kind of like one of those rings where there's two of them, like with a lot of the rings. Yeah, I would use this one much, but I'm sure it's useful if you're like, I really don't have to deal with an NPC invader or an invader right now. I'm gonna try and sneak past, or so you can get the drop on them or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I honestly, I'd have thought it'd be better if you're trying to kill some invaders for whatever reason. Put that ring on it, make it a bit easier, give you that edge.
Yeah. But yeah, you go past that. There's another black skeleton. This was probably the most in your way, but if you're clever, you can bait him and get past him. And that leaves us to the big old fog gate. There's been a couple of fog gates we've kind of brushed over them because they didn't have the largest purpose in this game. But this brings us to the boss battle with the Adjudicator. Do you wanna lead this part, Chris? Because you'd fun with this guy.
I can lead this talking about what I did for the first time.
Yeah.
First time with the Adjudicator. You're in a big big vertically room. It's got about 3 floors to it, but it's quite restrictive in the other dimensions. You've got this very large, very fat, laughing thing with I think it's got a machete or something like the skeleton.
Cleaver.
Cleaver, that's the one. And a weird glowing head, which at first, it's just a weird glowing head. And you go, oh, yeah, okay, let's fight this thing. And you hit it, and you realise that your hits do no damage. And you go, oh no, wait a second, this place has multiple floors. It's got a glowing head, and there's a way to drop down. I guess you have to drop attack it. That's not something you can do in Demon's Souls, as it turns out. Something that they introduced in Dark Souls 1.
Indeed. And they let you know immediately in Dark Souls 1 that you can do that.
Yeah. I spent so incredibly long trying to, failing, assuming that I'd somehow cocked up the timing, and running back up to try again. It was crazy.
It was very funny to
until I tried to lock onto it down below and realised it locked specifically onto a chunk of metal that was sticking out of its stomach.
Which is quite nice of it.
Yes, I wouldn't have realised otherwise.
No.
You hit that enough and it falls down and then you can hit the head.
Yeah, or if you've got magical ranged attacks, you can hit the head, and the head takes a lot of damage.
Indeed.
But yeah, so basically, it's got like another cleave or something stuck in its belly, and you can hit that, and that'll make it fall over. Another gimmick. Most of the fights in these games we've said, I think, multiple times are gimmicks, but this is another good one. So yeah, it's 3 rooms, but the floors have fallen out on the higher 2. So you kind of come in and you can just see this huge, super fat thing lumbering about, just this kind of glowing head lumbering about beneath you, and you think you're safe. You're not. It's got its cleaver. I think it's got like is its tongue?
I feel like it's not actually got a head. Its head's sort of been removed, the top half, and that's where the bird sits, and its tongue is just hanging out of the.
Yeah, it's a very disturbing design.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got this tongue which can lash out and kill you very badly. Or if not kill you, knock you off and then kill you. It can kill you. But you can fire it from up here. I've never tried that.
No, I've never tried either.
But you can do it. But yeah, if you want to do that, hug the wall. Don't stay still because again it will lash out at you. And yeah, probably wear the thief's ring because that will make it harder for you to attack it. From the middle level, you can also use homing soul arrow to do quite a bit of damage. Or the fire spray one. However, what is easiest is for you to get down on the first level and locking on to the weak spot and hitting that, and then hitting him when he gets down. His attacks are, he's only really got one maybe 2 attacks, and they're very slow and very easy to avoid.
Yeah, it's a
Once you
very
know what,
simple fight once you
yeah.
realize how to damage him.
And again, the bird sound design in it is pretty creepy.
Hmm.
It like screams every time that it's about to like swing, and it's oh, I just hit the microphone booth.
It
Um,
screams and then he swings and then he does his little like chuckle thing.
yeah, it's again sound design in the remix great. Um, slash probably the original, but yeah, it's very good. But yeah, it's not a particularly hard fight. And you complete it once you know what you got to do, and you get the swollen demon soul, which can be used to turn into the meat cleaver, or be used to get the regeneration spell from Saint Urbain.
Mm.
Meat cleaver gains 1% of HP on each hit, and despite being classed as a large hammer, deals slashing damage. It's the only weapon that has 2 damage bonuses ratings of S,
Yeah,
which is yeah, Dex and Strength, which is pretty heavy.
yeah, I didn't realize that.
Me neither. So yeah, there you go. And then obviously regeneration, also a useful spell. So
Indeed.
is that the slow heal?
I have no idea.
Yeah, regenerates HP over time.
Very useful.
Indeed, especially if you've got quite a bit of health and you're just taking like
Little chips of damage here
little
and
chips
there.
damage, like probably from like fire flame lurker and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And yeah, that's Island's Edge. Indeed.
indeed. Next we go to the ritual path.
Well, we do momentarily. First, we do
Okay.
the world tendency things
Oh, we're going to talk about the world
because
tendency. Fair enough.
there are a couple of things with this. We've got in White World, Satsuki in human form appears at the entrance looking for the magic sword Makoto. Um, if you find it and give it to him, surprise, surprise, he'll attack you with it. Um,
Yeah.
and then if you kill him, which you can do very easily, you can pick it back up. If you find it and don't give it to him, he'll attack you with it. If
I'll
you
attack you
find
for
him,
it.
he'll attack you for it. Yeah, even if you find him and have it equipped, when you talk to him, he will attack you for it.
I don't think he'll even like be able to talk to you. I thought he'd just voice for you then.
Just straight up
Listen
attack
to
you, maybe. Yeah.
you.
And yeah, killing him will shift the world's tendency by -3. So, yeah, last thing you want
Mm.
to do, really. Black world tendency. Satsuki shows up at the entrance. He drops uh, a hitless when killed. What's a hitless?
Hiltless.
Oh, a hiltless. It's a katana that has no hilt.
Yep. Actually, it's called hiltless, but I think it's. I'm trying to remember. It might actually. No. Yeah, it's hiltless because you hold it by the blade and take damage when you use it. I think.
Ah, yeah, that's
Is
interesting.
that what it was? Or was that?
I think that's it.
Da, 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 da.
Inflicts
Special.
3% of max HP to user each attack.
Yeah.
Every attack that hits an enemy will drain 3% of player's HP. Hitting walls and objects will trigger effect. Um, yeah. So that's a
It's
thing.
like that other sword I used in Dark Souls 2 without realizing it did damage.
That one. That was
The
a that was
prisoner's sword.
yeah, that one. um, but
Sinner's
yeah,
sword.
that's one that his. Well, actually, we're gonna get to there in a bit, so we won't go over that just yet. Um, there's also a bunch of extra Black Phantom silver skeletons that will show up, and Black Phantom gold skeletons. One of which is on a ledge above the Adjudicator shield. Um, which is a shield.
A shield that's got the adjudicator painted on it.
Yeah, if it stacks with the blessed weapons and the regenerator's ring and will increase the total HP regeneration. Inducing the shield while also using magic sword Makoto or the spell curse weapon can balance the HP drain. It is handy for builds that focus on two-handing weapons, as its healing ability doesn't require it to be out just in your hand. Yeah,
Mm.
so I love healing. Which is similar to how like shields and stuff work in Dark Souls 2. I know as well because I had to figure all that stuff out to get the best levels I could possible when trying to do the Soul Level 1 run, which is still ongoing. But anyway, now we can get to uh, the ritual path,
Indeed, the ritual.
which is another fun area.
It is. This one took me a very, very long time at first. My God. It's also everyone's favourite soul farming spot. It's right here
Yeah.
at the start of the ritual path.
Oh yeah, the Shadow Men.
Yeah, the Shadow Men. There you go. You remember the Shadow Men now.
The ones that like shadows.
Yeah, that's it. So the start of the ritual path, obviously, is just outside the boss arena. You go down a nice flight of stairs. You get to see the outside world for a bit. Possibly get yeeted with another manta crystal thing.
That's the one.
Head back down some other stairs. Go back inside. Possibly meet up with Grave Robber Blige if you freed him in the last area.
Yes, he's in the last area. He
Did we talk about that?
We did not.
Find a copper key and then you let him out in that underground bit behind the illusory walls.
He sells some useful stuff, I think, but I can't remember what it was.
He sells that. Does he sell arrows? I feel like he sold arrows. I feel like I bought arrows off of him.
Yes, he sells arrows. Does he have ephemeral eyes?
Barbarian clothes, spice, soul remains.
Oh, he had spice. That's what it was. He
Eh,
had spice at a good price, which was good for my wizard.
spice at a good price.
Yep.
Yeah, he's all right. And then you go to the end, but oh no, the end is
There's a cutscene. I was very confused. Oh, well, it's closed actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's closed. The end's closed first, but then you
we
walk
step
there
on a
anyway.
massive-
You step on a big old pressure plate and open the door and close another door, and then there's a cutscene.
Which shows you a Reaper summoning a bunch of shadow lurkers to overwhelm you. If you kill the Reaper, all the enemies disappear and still give you souls. So yeah, it gives you a whole bunch of souls. Which is great. So the Reapers have some magic. They have a strong soul arrow attack, which does a lot of damage, and they have a side swipe, which does a lot of damage. So yeah, they kind of look like death, basically. There's only 3 of them. But being the personification of death, they have the touch of death attack. So don't try melee. Yeah, they will kill you. Basically, unless you've like a really like long ranged attack, or you can kill them fast enough that they don't get a chance to swing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they drop moonshade stone shards and moonshade stone chunks, and also occasionally the war size. So yeah, they're good
I
for
got a
those
lot
moonshade
of
stones.
those
Yep.
for some reason.
Yeah, they're pretty weak to bleed, poison, and blight. So that's good. And they
Blight?
have
What's blight?
a plague even.
Oh, plague. I was going to say, is it some effect that I have no idea about?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think so.
Wow.
Their magic defense, is. Oh, as in just because there's often like how we were talking about Bloodborne, how there's holy weapons and there's cutting as a thing, which the game never lets you know about, but it is in there. It's a mechanic.
Fair enough.
They have very high magic defense. Everything else is pretty low. Yeah, range stuff is a good way to go with them. Take them out from distance and don't get hurt.
Once you've taken them out, every weird soul thing in the vicinity also dies.
Every shadow lurker dies.
Shadow lurker, that's the word.
Or shadow lurker brackets man, as they're called on Fextra Life.
Is there one called brackets child? Because there are some small ones.
But we've not got to them yet.
No.
They are well, there's regular shadow lurkers. There's light ball head shadow lurkers, which suck.
Oh, they're the laser ones.
They're the freaking laser ones that laser
Nice.
you that I hated at the start.
Yeah.
And then there's quote unquote female shadow lurkers.
No, they're the small ones.
Yeah, I guess so. Which are invisible most of the time, become visible during any of its attacks, and disappears once more, leaving behind a brief wisp of light where its eyes were. Typically opens the encounter with a two-armed thrust attack, will deal bonus damage to the player if it hits them from the back. Very long range, very narrow. Very fast, long-range thrust attack with either arm, emits a faint giggling sound. This type, however, will not die once the Reaper is killed. But yeah, all the other ones do. The laser ones have 120-degree sweeping beam attack that does heavy magic damage, but the melee attacks are similar to the regular. If you avoid the first one, or you can like sprint close enough to them, you can stun them out of it. If you're not expecting it, which I was not the first time, again, they will kill you. And it really sucks. But they're very slow. So yeah, if you just kind of wander around the first time, you can get swamped by these guys very easily because it's a very large chamber, and you're up the top, and there's these two kind of like pillar thing sections. Then you can go down the stairs to get to the bottom layer.
You know what's
Um,
also down the bottom that's interesting?
yes, go for it. I was about to let's
There are
talk about that.
these prism stones.
There
And I
are.
don't remember ever seeing prism stones that I hadn't put down before in that
Mm-hmm.
area. In the game.
You saw them in Bloodborne the other day.
Did I?
Yep, before patches pushed you
Oh,
off the
I
cliff.
did. I did, yeah. Screw that guy. Speaking of screw that guy, you
It's that
follow
guy.
them, and hey, there's a guy that's like, oh, there's some treasure that I found, and it's just down this hole.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to keep it all for myself, but you know what? We're friends. I'll share it with you. Go have a look,
And
Elodie.
if
Should have.
you've seen him before in Area 2. If you spoke to him there, he's got a great face.
Yeah.
Great voice. And yeah, literally patches the hyena, which is that's what he is. But yeah, you get pushed down. Saint Urbain's down here.
Yeah, he's also been tempted by the treasure and pushed down, apparently.
Apparently so, yeah. Or like something else. Oh, well, he doesn't like clerics, does he?
He didn't like clerics. I don't know if he doesn't like clerics in this one.
Maybe it's an underlying theme,
Maybe.
even if he doesn't actually have an issue with them. But because Saint Urbain is a saint, so
Very recognizable cleric.
indeed he's got hilarious hair.
Yeah.
But he's down here.
And he can't get out because, unfortunately, there is a Black Phantom down there.
It's an Uchigatana Black Phantom, which is it's. I mean, yeah. I swear he also does damage to himself, but I guess maybe not.
Also does damage to himself.
Yeah, I swear he also does damage to himself when he attacks you.
I don't think so. It's just a Nucci.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Very strange. Maybe I'm going mad.
Maybe.
I swear
maybe
it used
slowly
to always
getting-
drop down when I'd attack him when I wasn't doing anything. Maybe I was doing something I wasn't aware of.
Maybe you'd poisoned him.
Maybe. Weird.
But anyway,
'Cause I
he's
was
easy
he
enough
was
to
using
kill.
the hiltless, and that's why he was. But I guess I was wrong.
Why, he's not called the Hiltless.
Yeah, it's called
Phantom,
the
is he?
Uchigatana. Yeah, well that's why I was like, oh, I guess.
And the
So I was
Hiltless
wrong.
only hurts you when when he's attacking you and hits you, right?
Oh yeah, true. So that still doesn't.
So,
I have no idea. Anyway, if you go back up to patches after getting out of here, he'll give you a gash resistance ring, which helps protect against bleeding, which is always good.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, then you've got another gauntlet, basically.
He wields a Hiltless and an Uchigatana.
Aha! Vindication.
Fair enough.
I don't know why I didn't. I did look quickly at his thing, and I was just like, oh, I guess it's just Ninja Katana, and just didn't read the equipment to see if he had both. I guess
Yeah.
that'd have been useless. Useless, useful. Wow, going well. Yeah. So after you've done that, time to
After you've done
go.
that, yeah, you go back up. You've talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
Back where the Shadow Man Reaper thing was,
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Priest thing. There
Yep.
is another weird pressure plate
Mm-hmm.
that you can press on, and it opens the next door for you to continue onwards. Back
Indeed.
outside to wander along a cliff face infested by silver and gold skeletons.
It is.
It's always fun.
You can also find the white bow in here as well at some point, I think,
Yeah.
which is, I think, the bow that um was used by whoever becomes Phalanx, whichever one of
The,
the knights that is.
yeah.
The lady.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, it's got very long range and it's a very interesting, cool looking bow. But yeah, that's say too. But yes, a whole bunch of gold and silver
A
skeletons.
lance? No, not a lance. That's
Not a
King
lamp.
Ant.
That's the
What's
king.
the word I'm thinking of?
Not sure.
You keep on talking. I'm gonna find this out.
Yeah. So yeah, you're on the side. You're on a cliff path again. And there's a whole bunch of skeletons that will attack you, while some of them shoot you. While there's also one flying storm beast that can shoot at you from the side. Um, but you also got to drop down, and in Demon Souls you can climb back up if you drop down, but it's a little bit clunky. So you got to get the right angle, which sometimes means if you're trying to bait skeletons, it can sometimes be difficult to manage to climb back up before they reach you. Having the thief ring here is
Ulan.
good. Alan,
Ulan.
Ulan.
Longbow Ulan.
Ah, that's it. Yeah,
I was close.
you were close.
Atlantis is surprisingly similar
It's
sounding.
pretty similar. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There we go. But yeah, having the thief ring's good here because it means you can kind of bait them one by one, and the others won't notice, and you don't have to deal with the bow one at the same time. And
Yeah.
the flying boys won't really pay much attention to you at all unless they get really close. That's good. If you get down to the bottom here, you'll find a couple more gold skeletons, which you can fight off, or pass through. There's a frog gate, and in here you're on a platform, and this is where you'll find your first laser boy of the shadow lurkers. Which yeah, really sucked the first time I got through there, and also where you find the female ones you get down the bottom. There were also go for it.
Fun thing about what kept on happening to me here, like at least I'd want to say like 5-6 times,
Oh,
was halfway down after the first couple of laser boys. You do find the Shadow Man Reaper thing for
yeah,
those areas, and there's a hole right behind him. And
yeah,
you're supposed to hit him a couple of times and he falls down the hole and dies. But if you're locked onto him and you're being too aggressive, you also go down the hole. And the fact that I kept on doing that, it's just a source of absolute anger and frustration for me.
yeah. I never managed that. I accidentally stumbled across him my first time from panic sprinting. Um, but I never fell down. I was just like, oh, it's a guy, quick, kill him. And then he fell down. I was like, cool, I killed him. And then he was like, I was like, oh, better not run too much, though, because there's a hole there. And I almost fell in multiple times. But I did not,
Good for you.
which was good for me, but less good for Chris.
Yeah.
And yeah, that will stop all but the lady ones, which can still surprise you and attack you. We've kind of gone over them.
Well, I mean, there's another Reaper and there's more laser boys further down.
Yeah. And then you go down further. There's another laser boy at the end who can be troublesome. You just got to time it right. There's a skeleton hiding around the corner, and he will summon people behind you as well, so you just got to be careful. But as long as you're careful, you should be okay there. And that brings us to a weird place with some phosphorescent slugs.
Yes, that's a very weird place. Phosphorescent slugs and a load of weird balls of light.
Shiny flying orbs that, if hit you or come very close, will explode.
Yes, if you've been to Stonefang, you already know to be wary of floating
Orbs that
orbs.
explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of slugs. They're not all too dangerous. You can kill them, or you can just run past them on these like arching bits that go over the top, kind of like a small like cavey thing. There's some moonshade stone chunks down here. And yeah, they kind of just slug around. They're pretty slow. And yeah.
And go through there. It's
Mhm.
pretty easy to just run through, and then
Yeah, you can find the Hiltless here as well, along with the Ronin's ring, which improves
yeah.
durability but reduces the rate of weapon attrition. That's the
Sorry,
same
say that
thing.
again.
It improves
Improves
durability,
durability,
which is another way of
but
saying reduces the rate of
reduces
weapon
rate of
attrition.
weapon.
It
Okay,
just said both, and I thought they were two different things, but they're not. They're the same thing.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
reduces the weapon's attrition by 50%, which is pretty useful.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we head up into another fog gate to what might be the most terrifying boss fight in the game,
Yeah, if you're not aware of it
if you're not
beforehand.
aware. I've never fought this guy and killed him without using the strategy.
I
It
got
feels like cheating.
incredibly close the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly close, and it saddened me greatly that I didn't.
Yes, this is the
And
old
I was so
hero.
frustrated that I did
Mm-hmm.
the other thing we're going to mention.
Yeah. Who is a towering hero of legend brought to life by the Old One. He wields a massive curved sword blade made out of quartz crystal, but is blind, either after having his eyes covered or removed entirely, and as a result, it's difficult searching for his opponent and can be seen feeling around with his hand during the fight. Um, and interestingly, like the Adjudicator and the Shadow Man on the Archstone, the old hero does not have lips. That is interesting. He doesn't. Yeah, that's strange. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, this guy is incredibly. He's got very good hearing. So if you move about and you've got heavy armor on, I think heavy armor, maybe not, but if you move about too much, he'll hear you and he'll come charging over, and he will swing his sword very aggressively. He'll do it kind of plunging into the ground and do like an AoE energy blast as well. Terrifying because he's really fast and he's huge.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of damage. However, if you use the Thief's Ring, can't hear you for the most part. So you can just kind of wait until he's in a good position, charge in, hit him a few times, and then as he's winding up to attack, you run away again. Which makes the fight trivial, albeit quite long, because he has quite a bit of health.
Yeah.
And still
It's very much a
terrifying.
battle of attrition. Like that.
Yeah. Still really creepy though. Because just for me at least, I'm always like, did I go far enough? Does he still know where I am? Because sometimes he'll still run a little bit, but then he'll stop,
Hmm.
and it's like, oh no, he's coming. He's not. And then occasionally he'll do a jump, which usually is in our direction. But yeah, boss fight that really freaks me out. This one. um,
Hmm.
again, gimmicky boss fight. Okay. I've never fought it properly, so I don't feel like I can properly. Well, I feel like I fought it the way you are kind of meant to, but at the same time, I don't feel like I fought the true boss.
Yeah.
Cool design though. Again, feels very different to like all the other boss fights style wise. The design of this one because it's just kind of like a big dude with a whole bunch of piercings.
Hmm.
However, after defeating him,
You go on to Ollie's favourite boss.
yeah, I think it is my favorite boss in the game. But we get the Hero Demon Soul,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
which you can use to ascend claws +8 into the large sword of searching. Or
Claws.
broadsword +8 or flamberge +8. That's just the one they chose for some reason, I guess
It's
alphabetically.
probably
No, because
alphabetical.
broadsword
No?
is
Oh. Who
who
knows?
knows. Um, it doubles base item drop rate even when equipped in the offhand slot. Um, it's classified as a curved sword despite its name. And you can trade this weapon to Sparkly the Crow to obtain the Providential Ring, but only if it was originally crafted from a scimitar +8. And the Providential Ring also raises item discovery, and you can get as a starting gift. So I don't know why go through all that effort to get it, but there you are. You can also use it to get Second Chance from Saint Urbain. Um, which is a pretty useful miracle, as it stops you from dying once, which is pretty useful, to say the least.
Yeah.
It can be
Yeah.
consumed for 36,000 souls.
Hmm.
It's a point we did not actually check how much the adjudicator one could be. 13,200. There we are. But yes, next is the Altar of Storms, which, as we know, 4-3, is just a boss fight. World events in this place. If you've got a white world, the rune patches kicks you down. The inaccessible corpse is now on the ground, and you can pick up the magic sword
Magic Sword
Makoto.
Makoto.
Yeah. And Black World, Primeval Demon within the left staircase near the first Reaper. There's a breakable archway on the second landing after killing the dual katana skeleton. Look for a pathway along the left side of the cliff to walk up, and about halfway you should see it. There should be a crystal lizard right before it. There's also some more black phantoms. So yeah, not a whole lot in this second area. But yes, the Altar of Storms, or World 4-3, is where you fight the Storm King, which is an oversized storm beast with a large multi-spear attack, which homes in on your location. This thing is super huge, and there's lots of small storm beasts around it, which also attack you, and you can also take out. It's not unlimited amount. There is a limited amount. They don't keep spawning, which is nice. And yeah, this is another gimmick boss fight, but this is a very good gimmick boss fight. Because the spectacle is great, the music's great, the sound design is great, and the gimmick is fine. Which as gimmicks go is decent praise.
Hey.
Because yeah, like we talked about with Dragon God, spectacle's great, design is great, sound is great. Gimmick could be so much better. With this one, basically you've got to run about, pick up a bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of souls and stone of ephemeral eyes and holy arrows you can pick up. There's all these kind of old stone buildings which you can hide in to avoid the homing attacks. Also some cloudstone chunks. But you've got to run around, and eventually, if you grab all the things and you don't die, you will pick up the Storm Ruler,
Yeah, the Storm Ruler.
which is a large sword weapon. That anyone can build really. And it's got a powerful attack, which uses the power of storms. But in the Ultra of Storms, it's supercharged, and can be used to like do a whole ton of damage, basically one shot all the small storm demons, and is how you are to damage the big one. And it does this really cool kind of wind effect, which then cuts through the air. When you do your heavy attack. As an actual sword, it's not all that amazing, but yeah. So yeah, I already knew about this because of they bring the Stormwaller back in Dark Souls 3 in what's maybe a little bit of a heavy-handed callback. But it's still kind of cool. But I'm assuming you also knew about this the first time, Chris?
Yeah, I'd also Dark Souls 3.
Because of Dark Souls 3. So it'd be very interesting to see what it's like for someone doing this the first time, because there's just this huge thing there.
Like, how on earth? I'm a melee build. What on earth am I supposed to do here?
Exactly. So I can't imagine what that'd have been like. That'd have been really interesting to go into this one blind. But even without that, I still, it's not too tricky. as long as you know to avoid. If you avoid the attacks from the big ones, and you have an easy enough way of disposing of the smaller ones,
Yeah.
then yeah, it looks cool. It's kind of there's this rocky plain, just all this lightning and rain and stuff, and this huge thing just flying over. Like the sound design with the spectacle really make you again feel the size of this thing, and the way they've animate it to move, it really feels that big. It's just really cool. I just really like it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
It's certainly an epic spectacle. The music and all.
is certainly an epic spectacle. Killing this will
What
give
do-
you the Storm Demon Soul. Sorry, carry on, Chris.
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Oh,
so what do you get if you kill it, Ollie?
You get the Storm Demon Soul.
Nice. What can you use that for?
You can use that to ascend a +8 short sword or similar, probably, into the Morion Blade. Short sword, long sword, night sword, bastard sword, claymore, great sword, which increases any damage by 60% when the character's HP is less than 30. Can be stacked with the Clever Rat's Ring for 140% damage boost. That's massive. Can be combined with the Ring of Magical Sharpness or the Monk's Head Collar for an impressive spell power. Cling Ring will help reducing the chance of dying from minor damage when using the boost because the bonus is based on max HP of your current form. Yep, that makes sense. And bonus damage boost will still activate even when you don't meet the sword's requirements. Yeah. And Anti-Magic Field generates a field around the player that prevents people from casting magic spells.
Yeah.
Affects miracles, though.
Does it prevent the player from casting magical spells?
Affects both enemies and the caster,
There
except for blue spirits.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah. And with that, we've gone through the Shrine of Storms.
Nice.
Which, yeah, I think is probably my favorite area in the game. Yeah, I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Some very cool enemies, some very cool designs. And yeah, I think just the fact this, for the most part, less claustrophobic. Like, quite a lot of the second part is actually back inside, but there's enough of it that's outside that it's still not like Stonefang or Latria. Even though Latria is outside for all of the second part, but the first part
It's
is
so
so
dark.
cramped and it's still so dark. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's quite
bright.
bright.
It's so dark, and you also are still restricted with where you can go.
Yeah. Whereas this is one of the more open places, because even when you got the Valley of the Fireman, it's all poison in the swamp, so you can't move fast anyway. So yeah, one more new area to go, and then we're back to Boletaria to talk about 1-3 and is it 1-4?
Yeah, 1-4 as well.
1-4, yeah. Cool. Well, there we are. Thank you for listening. And we will see you next time for part 6. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cabincast. For more episodes, go to www.cabincast.podbean.com or use the Podbean app. You can now also find us on iTunes and Pocket Casts under Cabincast and on YouTube. The uploads here are quite behind. Finally, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Cabincast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.